Hello everyone and welcome back to the 3T Path channel. My name is Giridhari Das. And today we're going to be talking about destiny in light of yoga. How does yoga see this whole thing about destiny? Now as we're starting the new year, this video is being recorded in the beginning of 2022. So when we have this New Year's, we get a little mystical, don't we? A lot of people, they want to do like their horoscopes and they want to find out what life is going to bring them, like what's going to happen this year. There's this whole kind of looking into the future, trying to find out what my destiny is, what's going to happen to me. So how does yoga see this? Well, a lot of people get mystical, right? People even say devotionally, we're in the path of bhakti yoga here in this channel. People might say, oh, God controls my destiny. Or, the materialists will say, well, it's just luck. Or, some of the others will say, no, it's hard work. But I want to tell you how yoga sees it. And one thing that's funny right off the bat is that we don't think that God is actually controlling my destiny. It's actually like you think, what? I thought you guys were super devotional. But no, it doesn't actually say that anywhere. Obviously, God isn't just independently, with no other input, creating my life and what's going on in my life and the things that happen to me. No. What yoga is saying actually is that it's a very fair system where whatever is happening to me is happening because I created that event. Not in the, let's not get into the whole co-creation, that kind of thing. That's not it. It's not like that, I just designed my future. People love selling courses like that, but the truth is, no, it's also not that much. It's a middle ground. It's okay, it's not that you have zero control of your life, but obviously you don't decide that you want to be, whoever, and anybody can decide to become the best, pop singer or, a billionaire. No, it doesn't work that way. So the way it works is that we are getting what we created. So I am creating my destiny for sure, 100% just me, but I'm not creating it right now. That's the point. It's not that exactly now I'm just going to sit down here and I'm going to, design 2022 to my liking, everything's going to work out, health and, my business and this and relationships. No, it doesn't work that way, right? But in a much larger time frame, which is a bit frustrating for some people who are impatient and materialistic, in a much larger time frame, yes, you're completely controlling your destiny. So in terms of lifetimes, not in terms of months and weeks, but in terms of lifetimes, absolutely, you are in control. You are making your life. The life you're living now, yoga is telling us, the law of karma is telling us, is 100% your doing. And before I said, no, we don't think God, so not even God isn't creating your life. You created your life. It's not that God decided that you should have that life right now. Is that you acted in such a way that this is what you're getting right now. So it is your doing. It's not that God is oh, how come God gave Elon Musk 300 billion and I've got $3 in my bank account. How does that work? No, it's not that he did that. It's just, in terms of karma, Elon Musk must have done something very nice karmically sometime, somewhere in some lifetime. I don't think it was this lifetime. And then he did something, and then things are really flowing in the financial aspect of his life. Not so great maybe in the personal life. Maybe karma, because that's what we don't think about that a lot. But that's how karma works. For example, you might think, oh, but Elon Musk, he's got 300 billion, so his karma is much better than mine. Well, maybe you've got a great family and a great relationship. Maybe you've got a great marriage and, he doesn't. He's tried so many times and failed. So, good karma in one thing might not be a good karma in another thing. And maybe this lifetime, you're you're an honest, dharmic, we would say dharmic. You're a dharmic individual. You're doing really well with your dharma in this lifetime. you're doing well with the things you've gotten, so this life might be much better for you than Elon Musk's life might be for him. Maybe in this life, if you're in this channel, there's a good chance it is, you're being spiritual, you're having an awakening. So then it's like incomparably better, like, because I don't think he's having, like, for example, I don't know his life, but let's assume that Elon Musk is not a dedicated spiritualist. I don't think he is. So, he might be. I'm just saying, let's just pretend he's like a materialist and he has no, serious interest in spirituality. So, and if you have interest in spirituality, so your life is actually much better. So in terms of destiny, like your destiny is much better than his because you're working on the most important thing, your spirituality, for example. You see? So, but the point is, it's all you're doing. So it's not that God decided, oh yeah, I'll give this guy no spirituality and lots of money, and I'll give this one, half and half, and that one, lots of spirituality, but I'll make him broke. No, it doesn't work like that. It's not like God, and it's certainly not some other random. There's no such thing as random. In yoga, in science, the idea of random is a bit silly. I think it's like a cheap way out. There's nothing random, right? God throwing the dice. There's no random. Everything has cause and effect. But the cause of everything happening in your life is actually just you. So as we start, if you're in this look, okay, we're starting the new year, I want to plan my life, I want to perfect my life. Two things you have to understand. First, what we just said, it's all you, 100% you. So don't worry about when other people do something to you, when something, the government, the weather, COVID, when something happens to you, some little virus or a big government, when something happens to you, it's only happening to you because of what you did in the past. It's still you. It's still you. It's not, again, there's no random, it's not luck, it's still you. Okay? And two, there are some karmas that are lifetime equivalents. So for example, you just came up with this great idea, you have a beautiful, perfect voice, and you meet the right person, and then you have this amazing musical career, for example. So that's like a other lifetime kind of karma. And that's not something like I couldn't do that, I couldn't all of a sudden have this amazing musical talent and meet, it's not going to happen. That's not my thing. But in other lifetimes, you can get that kind of thing. A lot of times, too, people create their own karma in this life. So people can, live in a stupid way, in a non-dharmic way, not use their intelligence, and then they have an immediate result. For example, unfortunately, a lot of people decided not to take the vaccine, for example, and then a lot of them got sick and died. And then so you can say so that karma, that's not like some other past lifetime that decided that they had to die. It's like you took the decisions which led to that. Or people decide to go into a life of crime, so then, it's a difficult life and it's a life of crime, so you're probably going to die and go to jail. So you chose a life, there was this life karma, the choices you made in this life obviously led to that situation, right? So a lot of things we do just because we're just being dumb with what we got in this life. So some things are bigger, some things are smaller, but above everything, and this is the most important thing, is above everything, what you have to understand is that what really matters is how you interpret life. When we're talking about destiny, too often we get carried away with the external materialistic things, especially money and fame. But what really matters, practically speaking, the only thing that matters is how you feel about life, how you interpret life's events. And that's where yoga comes in, the 3T path comes in, everything we do here, that's where it comes in, because what the Gita is teaching, what Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad-gita, is how to live well your life, how to interpret the same situation you're in and be so much better off. Not only, externally be better off, but more importantly, internally be better off. In the Bhagavad-gita, you have Arjuna at the beginning of the Battle of Kurukshetra, completely distraught, total crisis mode, panic mode. His life is, he hates his life. He really hates his life. 2 hours after hearing the Bhagavad-gita from Krishna, he's completely enthused, he's happy, he's full of life, he's vibrant, he's in total ecstasy. Do you see? Same situation, nothing changed. Really tough battle, really tough war ahead of Arjuna, horrible situation. Nothing changed externally, but everything changed internally. And with the 3T path, with the path of yoga, with this yoga knowledge, you can do that with your life. So whatever life you have, and then you'll see that it doesn't really matter if if you have 300 billion or if you have $3 in your account. It doesn't matter if you're a pop singer, if you're not, if just a regular person. It doesn't matter. You could be in hospital dying. It doesn't matter. If you have the internal set up correctly, you'll be living in gratitude, in bliss, and devotional attachment. You can be in complete bliss in any situation. I have been right next to people dying of cancer, painful stomach cancer, but he was in bliss. I was with him. He was a great devotee, Tribhuvanat, if somebody might know here, Tribhuvanat Prabhu from the UK. Amazing, saintly person, and I was fortunate to be right next to him, to be with him. Right there. Very painful stomach cancer, very horrible. He was happy, he was well, his consciousness was so elevated because he had dedicated his whole life. He was a saintly person. He had dedicated his life to bhakti yoga, to Krishna. So he was so happy. He was so blissful, no problem, Sorry it hurt, but not a problem, because he was well. And that's the ability we have. So if we can face stomach cancer and death, imagine your day-to-day, your life. Most of you have a nice life. You have food. You never worry about food. You have a nice bed. You have family. Most of you, we have this blessed life, and we don't even we're not even sufficiently thankful for it, the amazing blessings in our life, hot water. But what to speak of hot water? We don't appreciate these things. They're just amazing, like having food, like having all the food you want. It's just we don't appreciate how incredible this is. But you can do that. You can change the way you go about life. That's what the 3T path, that's what our purpose is in this channel, in my book, The 3T Path, is to teach you how to change your mind, your mindset. So then destiny then is yours. That's your destiny. You can create a situation where you're making your destiny completely favorable to you from the inside out. So that's it. Let me know what you think about this. If you have any questions, please leave your questions below. I always like hearing from you. Any suggestions, things you want me to talk about, I always like to hear from you. And have a wonderful day with lots of love and lots of peace.